and it's official. COVID-19 restrictions have been eased. New government guidelines were gazetted last night. This was at 11 o'clock. The health minister, that's 11 o'clock this morning, the health minister, Joe Pasha, expected to be joined by the minister in the presidency, Mondli Gungubele, to unpack the cabinet's decision. Now, many South Africans have already expressed their relief to be free from face masks, but are they really gone for good? Can private institutions, I'm talking about the organizations such as where I work, for example, the institutions, places of work, can they still enforce the restrictions as part of their internal health and safety regulations? To help us understand this is employment law specialist Osborne Molatudi. Ntate Molatudi, thank you very much for your time. So let's kick off the conversation. In my workplace, for example, can I simply start walking around without a face mask, or will I face consequences for that?
Well, I think before answering your question, one must look at the biggest implication that this latest government gazette has. You will recall that many employers across the country have implemented a mandatory vaccination policies in their respective workplaces. And part of those policies is requiring employees to wear masks and to take other necessary precautions to avoid the spread of the COVID-19 in the workplace and other associated illnesses.
Yeah.
So what it means is that the employers would have to digest that which our government have set out lately and to follow the same process that it did when it introduced a mandatory vaccination policy. I don't think it will be something to be done by a stroke of a pen. Our view is that from an employment perspective and to ensure workplace democracy is that the employers will have to engage the very same stakeholders about the implications of this latest regulations from our government. And one of the most important things is, of course, the implications of doing away with a mandatory vaccination policies when other employees may still be concerned about their health and safety in the workplace.
Yeah, all right. So in a way, I guess what I'm reading from you, and you'll correct me if I'm wrong, is that with government now doing away with these regulations, it's winter time, for example. Let's use logic. It's winter time. That means that it is the flu season. If you're going to be in a congested space, you know what personal responsibility means, taking personal responsibility. If you are going to be in a space like that, wear a mask. But in institutions, will they not possibly face consequences, or their employees taking them to court for exposing them to COVID-19, because it's not completely gone?
Indeed, indeed. You stole my words insofar as the reference to the flu season is concerned. So some employers, out of caution and being prudent as they want to be, may not necessarily do away with their mandatory vaccination policy straight away. Or let's call it health and safety, to the extent that they will still advise employees to continue complying with the policies until the engagement process of either taking the entire policy away or some aspects of it has been completed. Remember, Oli, there is still an obligation on the part of employers to create a safe and healthy work environment in terms of our health and safety laws. Some employers may wish to shift their focus away from the government regulations on COVID-19, the code of practice, etc., and sort of focus on the OSH Act, the health and safety legislation, and to still require their employees to wear masks and to take all the necessary precautions not to spread, the COVID-19, because it's not completely gone, and other related illnesses, until such a time that the very same engagement process that I was making reference to has been completed. It cannot be something that can be done overnight or by stroke of a pen. I think generally it would be unfair on employees who may be concerned about their health and safety in the workplace.
Osborne, I will be sanctioned in this workplace if I don't complete this conversation on time. I'm rushed for it, so be brief if you can. Vaccine mandate, unless I missed it, I'm not sure whether government has expressed itself on that or about that, because remember, there is still that has been under consideration, people that need to go and take the jab. It is still a personal choice, I think it would seem, unless you're forced by your workplace.
Indeed, it is still a matter of personal choice. Remember, the national state of disaster has been taken away sometime in April 2022. So this will be a matter of personal choice on the part of employers and employees, particularly those employees who may wish to travel to countries that may require them to be vaccinated and or to produce a negative COVID-19 certificate.
Osborne Molatudi, thank you very much. An expert in the field of labor law. Thank you very much for your time.